Today is September 16th, 2025. It's been 6 days since Charlie Kirk's assassination. Be- You know, before his assassination, I had seen Charlie Kirk's videos on TikTok and YouTube and on Reddit as well, but I never really watched an entire video of his, even his podcast. It was usually just snippets of him speaking, debating at college campuses, university campuses. When I remember not once watching any of those snippets that I ever say, that this guy is a hater. This guy is everything he's saying is harmful. Not once did I say that. In fact, I would most of the time. Remember, I would agree with what he was saying. The Now that he's passed, I have started to consume more of his videos, and I wish that I would have seen more of his videos before he passed away. Just by watching his videos alone, like my personal experience, just watching his videos alone. Now, I'm able to say, this dude was actually pretty awesome. He made a lot of sense. Harley and I share many of the same values, many, and that's most likely because he was Christian and I'm Christian, specifically Catholic. I'm raised as Catholic. I've been baptized. I've done my confirmation. For those of you that are Catholic, you know what that is. And and that's the reason why I enjoy his videos. I can see where he's coming from. And I can see and the sincerity of when he speaks to people and the things that he says. The other thing is when I learned of his death, at first I was confused. Like I said, at the time I hadn't seen many of his videos. Just what I had seen was very short, but I knew that what he was saying was nothing hurtful, was nothing harmful, was nothing hateful. Is there a chance he could have been wrong on something? Yeah, I mean, who isn't wrong in anything, right? None of us are perfect. None of us are born perfect. If you're a Christian, or uh, Catholic, I should say, um, you know, you know that we're born sinners, born with the original sin. We're born imperfect. It's the reason why we're baptized, and the sooner you're baptized, the better. Also, why we go to confession, because we're not perfect. We sin over and over. Even though we sin over and over, doesn't mean that we don't care. We do care. We try our best. We try our best not to repeat the same sins. That doesn't mean we're going to go out and find a new sin to commit. No, it means we're going to do our best to not sin. And when we realize that we've sinned, we go and confess, start over, try to lead a better life every day. And you can tell that, Charlie knew that. He knew that every day you had to wake up and be better. If you don't wake up every day and try to be better, then the only alternative is to be worse. And to be worse is no way to live. I wrote here, what is it, 3.5 pages. And these 3.5 pages, my thoughts. I wrote them, I think it was 3 days after Charlie's passing. I had to write down my thoughts to get them in order. Because, like I said earlier, I learning of his passing, I felt confused. So again, like I said, he didn't say anything harmful, nothing hateful. He didn't spread any hate at all. He was doing the opposite. And after I felt confused, I began to feel sorrow. Sorrow because I learned that he had a wife, two children, two very young children, I believe, 1 and 3. I believe they're both two little girls. I may be wrong, but I believe two little girls, 1 and 3, and his wife. He was only 31 years old. Charlie was only 31 years old. I'm 34. And anyone in their early 30s, you know that you haven't lived much. You're still starting out life. At 31 and at 34 for me, most of what you've known in your life, most of your life has been I want to say your childhood, or rather, more specifically, your adolescence, if I'm saying that right. You're young, being a kid, 0 to 10. Then you got your teenage years, all the way to 19. At that point, you're still a kid. Many of us are woefully unwise. Then you get into your 20s, you're a young adult. You around there in your early 20s, mid 20s, you start learning how to navigate life. By the time you get to your 30s, you're like, okay, I think I got a handle on this. Of course, like I said, you're just in your early mid 30s, you've seen life, you haven't seen most of it, you know. And if God wills it, hopefully you get to live a long life. You get to live your 80s, 90s. Hopefully, you get to reach your hundreds. Blessed with a long life. He was just starting out his life with his wife and his kids. He was just starting his family. Who knows if he would have gone on to have more children? And when I heard his wife just speak once, and it was the video where she mourning Charlie Kirk, and I can tell she's a wonderful young lady. That Charlie loved her very much. That she loved and that she loved him back very much as well. I said I felt sadness. Sorry, I felt sorrow. That's true, but that's not all I felt. After I felt sorrow, I felt anger. Anger because killing Charlie Kirk is a crime to humanity. And it's not a crime to humanity because he was a well known person or a famous person. No, that's not why it's a crime to humanity. His assassination is a crime to humanity because murder is wrong, assassination is wrong, killing is wrong. And Charlie knew that. Charlie had many, many debates across different colleges and university campuses debating abortion. And his stance was always the same: murder is wrong. Whether you kill an unborn baby or you kill someone who's lived a full life all the way into the 80s and 90s and beyond, you kill them, that's a crime to humanity. We as humans, we are not called here on earth to be judge, jury, and executioner. And unfortunately, the person who assassinated Charlie Kirk could not see that. Wish I could have made this video earlier during the week. So many people making videos not long after he was pronounced dead. I couldn't. Like I said, I felt confused, felt sorrow, and then anger. I needed to get through those feelings. And it was just today that I finally got through those feelings. It's on the East Coast of the United States. It's 8:44 p.m. right now. This morning I was struggling with it because to see a young man got a whole future ahead of him, wonderful, wonderful future. You know what? Wonderful is not the right word. Blessed. Like Charlie would use the word blessed so many times, and he was absolutely right to use that word. Growing up, I would use the word lucky, lucky over and over. Say, I'm lucky. I remember my parents telling me, no, you're not lucky. You're blessed. There's a difference between lucky and being blessed. Charlie knew that. But he had a blessed life. And the life that he was leading, he knew that his life would continue to be blessed. Sadly, that was taken away from him. Charlie won't get to be a grandfather, won't get to be a great grandfather. He won't get to father more children. Hopefully, his wife becomes a grandmother and a great grandmother. You won't have Charlie there. It'll be hard. It'll be hard for her and her children. But like his wife said in her video, they will see each other again. Continue to live your life according to Jesus Christ, then you will see your loved ones in the afterlife. And that's a blessing. I was about to say that's a silver lining, but no, that's not a silver lining. As a Catholic, I cannot say that's a silver lining because that would be absolutely wrong. That's a blessing. To be able to say, I live my life according to Christ. And when I pass away, I'll be able to go ahead and see my loved ones. That's all has to be done. And to be able to say that, you have to count your blessings as well. I also want to address the individuals that have been celebrating Charlie Kirk's assassination. Fortunately, the individuals are wicked, wicked and twisted. That's unfortunate. Very unfortunate because living a wicked and twisted life leads nowhere good. It has never led anyone anywhere good. Fortunately, they still have time to turn their lives around. Jesus Christ loves all of us. He gives us chances to turn our life around. These people have chances to turn their life around, realize that celebrating someone's assassination, someone's death, is absolutely wrong. Hopefully, they realize it in time before they run out of time. We do not know when we'll pass. And because we do not know when we'll pass, we have to be very careful. I say we have to be very careful because life is fragile, it can be gone in an instant. You're not ready by the time you pass. That's that's an ending that no one, for lack of better words, that's an ending that no one wants to find out. And not just the other thing I want to say is, again, addressing those individuals is like they enjoyed calling People like Charlie Kirk fascist, which was wrong, very wrong. Those people are very lucky that the ones that have lost their jobs, that live here in the United States, they're, again, I used the word lucky, I meant to use the word blessed. They are blessed to be living in the United States, where we have the First Amendment, freedom of speech. And the worst that's happening to them right now is that they're just being fired from their jobs, from their place of employment. That's the worst that's happening to them. They live in a country where they even though they've been fired from their work of employment, they have a chance to better themselves, to rebuild themselves, and come back better. There are countries out there where there is no freedom of speech. The government, the authorities don't like what you say. They grab you and put you in prison. That's it. You're done. You're absolutely done. And hopefully they realize that. Because losing jobs, excuse me, losing their jobs is not the end of the world. And hopefully they come back better. Hopefully they realize their mistakes. They realize that celebrating someone's death is not right. I've also seen online the same individual saying that that if Hitler were alive today, and if he was killed, assassinated, that conservatives, that those on the right would say, "Oh, that wasn't right. How could you have killed Hitler?" And I say, no, that's not true. The reason that it's not true is because Charlie Kirk and Hitler were two extremely different people. They both lived on the ends of a spectrum. Hitler lived on the end of just pure hatred, and Charlie was nowhere near that. Charlie showed love and respect for the people, for everybody he spoke to. So if Hitler were alive today and he was assassinated, no, people would not be saying, "Oh, what a shame." No, 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 no. What people will be saying is it's finally over. Look at all the chaos he caused, all the bloodlines he ended, all the people he tortured. And guess what? Back when World War II ended, that's exactly what people were saying, because that's the truth. It was over. It was done. Those in the concentration camps in Auschwitz and all the other concentration camps were finally freed. They were glad it was finally over, even though they were mourning, because many of them got to see their loved ones taken away from them, to never see them again, to never hear them again. Like I said, entire bloodlines wiped out. Many people were just the last ones of their bloodline, right there. More family, no more nothing. But no one will be saying, "Oh, poor Hitler." No, ridiculous, ridiculous. We're saying poor Charlie. Yeah, Charlie was nothing like Hitler. Charlie was a great man that lived a blessed life. He lived it the best he could according to our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. For those of you watching, I urge you to pray. Pray for the United States of America. Pray that we don't walk down the right path, that those individuals that celebrate his death change, because they need it. Pray for them. Pray for them every day. And don't stop praying for them. Nothing wrong with praying for them. They need it. Even if they don't want it, just pray for them. Because they'll say, "No, we don't want it." Just pray for them. Pray for that they have a conversion. Okay? Like if any of you have watched the the Grinch, the cartoon version, the old cartoon version, or the Jim Carrey version, the Grinch had a conversion. His heart grew 3 sizes. Pray for these people for the same thing to happen. Because right now their hearts are black and hard as a stone, as black as charcoal and as hard as a stone, cold, cold stone, and they need their hearts to change. And in order to help them with that change, we have to pray for them. Pray for them. Pray for them every chance you get, because they need it. And pray for this country, the United States of America. That's the end of the video. God bless America.